So just on the day when we especially need the microphone, welcome to the TerraTech Twitch stream. We're here with Dave. Dave did the music for TerraTech and dropped in to say hello. Hello!
Hello!
Hello.
Right.
So if you have any questions about how to get into music for games, then Dave is the one to ask.
I'll be very evasive because then I don't want competition.
No, yeah, exactly, yeah. It's pretty stiff competition. I mean,
yeah, there's a lot of...
When we eventually got in touch with you and commissioned some music from you for the game, we had an incredible amount of people applying to do the music. You know, it seemed like at one point 1 or 2 emails every day coming in saying, you know, I'm a composer for games.
Yeah, that's from my experience. Like everything I've applied for.
Yeah.
Even if I am successful, I'm always told how many other people I'm up against.
Yeah.
And I sometimes have to be vicious and undercut them and drop prices.
Right. I mean,
it's quite competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so do you mainly find work through word of mouth, through recommendations, or?
Almost all of it's between me going out, finding games that I think might need music or might not have final music, and getting in touch and offering, like sending a portfolio and saying maybe you need some music.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't work very often, but if you do that often enough, you then get work.
Sure.
So it's putting in a lot of hours of networking, and then you eventually start getting people who know you, and then they'll hire you for subsequent things. They'll recommend you to other people.
Yeah, absolutely right. So that's
the
work starts to roll on and that sort of thing.
It does take a while.
Yeah. So, how did you get started in this? Oh, hang on, we've got a question from Thundercodes. Let's take questions from the chat more than me.
Thundercodes.
These guys.
I'm gonna copy and paste every question from chat into the doc. So when you want one, hit me up and I'll
All right. Okay. All right. Well, then we'll get to that.
The Thundercodes one was when you make your music for games, do you use real instruments or software to create music?
Well, it pretty much depends on what the soundtrack is. This soundtrack is mainly acoustic, so most of it's real. So it's all real acoustic guitar, some electric bass. The only thing that's not real is the drums, which are sampled. So I can't really look at you.
No, you can look anywhere you want.
I'll look at you.
I'm interested to hear.
So yeah, with this it's mainly real. I think there might have been a couple of. I think I used a software like a virtual bouzouki, which you can maybe hear in one of the cuts. Everything
What's a bouzouki?
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. It's like a mandolin but bigger. So it's like a 12-string guitar.
Yeah, I want to see this.
But with
Alright.
It's like a 12-string guitar, but with 4 sets of strings instead of 6, and it's like a folk instrument. But I didn't have a real one when I first made the music, so I used the virtual one.
Is that how we spell it?
Bouzouki, second one.
Sorry.
No, I got it wrong when I was ordering it myself.
Bouzouki. Oh, okay, alright.
Mine was more like an Irish one than a Greek one.
So it's got a kind of round back thing that makes it impossible to put down.
Yeah, you need a strap.
Yeah. Alright, okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, this soundtrack was almost entirely real instruments. Other soundtracks are entirely fake. Like if I'm doing chiptune, that's all obviously software instruments and bit crush stuff. If I'm doing orchestral stuff, that will have to be fake.
Right. Of course, yeah.
So the only real instruments I ever play are guitar and guitar-based instruments. Everything else is not real.
Do you ever do vocals?
Actually, this thing that you're playing here, there are some vocals on it.
Oh, really?
Did you ask? Is that coincidence? Yeah, I'm doing kind of scat singing.
Oh, really? I couldn't hear.
It's quite quiet. Yeah, I'm following the melody.
Oh yeah, I can hear. Alright, I can hear.
It's embarrassing, but it kind of.
It's kind
works.
of like the Sim song.
Yeah. I can't actually sing very well, so I don't do it.
That's good. It's nice. Let's see what the lyrics are for it. Does that button work?
It does. I did put lyrics on it.
Oh, there you go.
And the lyrics are simply.
There you go. The lyrics for this song. Nice. Okay, cool. All right.
I doubt there'll be lyrics needed for TerraTech.
So Vincenzo 2K has a question. What is your favourite video game music? Apart from TerraTech, of course.
See, I don't actually know because there isn't really much of a crossover between when I used to play video games a lot and when I got into video game music.
Yeah.
So now I don't really play very many video games.
Yeah.
So I don't really remember a lot of the music. The best
It's a
video
classic
game
thing,
music.
isn't it? When you get involved with games, the amount of time you have to actually play games kind of hits to the floor.
I do recall when I was playing Warcraft 2 many years ago, when I was a slip of a man. I used to take the game CD into school and listen to it.
Yeah.
So I really love the music. I mean, if you listen to it now, Warcraft 2.
Warcraft 2, right? Yeah.
Probably listen to it now, it would be very kind of MIDI and
Yeah.
because the technology's moved on. But I really love the melodies. But now, the favourite one that I can remember is the Skyward Sword main theme, which is majestic. Oh, and Grant, what am I saying? Grant Kirkhope. He does great music.
Grant Kirk.
Grant Kirkhope. Rare. So Viva Pinata, Banjo Kazooie. He's doing ukulele now with kind of the new Rare startup.
Right.
So yeah, he does awesome music.
That sounds good. I really like the Zelda music. You said you don't like any of the other Zelda music.
I probably overstated that a bit. it hasn't got into my head in the same way that the main Skyward Sword theme has, but I haven't heard enough of it to really. Well, no, of course I have. Like the really famous Zelda theme.
Right. I mean, it's so iconic.
It's great, but I just haven't heard enough of it, the whole soundtrack, to know if I like it.
Yeah.
All the way through.
Okay, fair enough. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah.
Whilst we're going?
Thundercodes asks, how long have you been making music for games?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask as well.
4 or 5 years, I suppose. So I've been doing it properly for about two or three.
Okay.
And I guess you could say I became professional. Before that, I was doing it in the evening after my job.
And so, how did you first get into it? I mean, as you say, you played games, and I guess you did music as well. And
there was never, for years, there was never any intention to cross over and make game music. I've been making music for about 10 years, but I was much more a guitarist than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I just recorded guitar music, and then I started working out how to do MIDI programming, so I could put strings in and virtual instruments. And just doing that as a hobby gave me the kind of foundation to be able to then think to myself where I could make game music.
Right. Okay. So you approached
it
from the kind of older school sounding games angle.
Yeah, I didn't.
Retro stuff.
Yeah, and because that also is the easiest thing. Well, there are some subtle things, but it's the easiest thing to do in terms of resources because it's very simple.
Yeah, so are there specific synthesizers that you go to for those like original Game Boy kind of MIDI sounds?
There probably are. I mean, the original sounds were made with as far as I understand, with the actual chips on the actual hardware.
Right.
So it's a very specific sound. I didn't have that. But you can make like a software synth that has that sort of vibe.
Yeah.
If you make the right kind of melody and approach, it'll sound kind of like it's in that era.
Right.
But I never thought to myself, I'll make music for video games. It just sort of out of my hobby.
Yeah.
Which gave me, I guess, like, kind of accidentally gave me the skills that you'd need to be able to make lots of different types of music.
Right.
But then every single thing I've done has been a learning curve in any case. Like, there's never been one where I felt like I could do it perfectly from the start. I always had to learn something.
So do you have, at least when you started making music for games, did you stick to that sort of genre, that sort of chiptunes ilk of music, or?
Actually, it took a while for me to kind of get into that pure chiptune thing.
Oh, really?
The very first thing I did was not very good, and it was a quite odd mix of GarageBand beats and synths and electric guitar.
Oh, okay.
And orchestral bits. It was a bit all over the place.
Right.
And in the game where it was used, the people they turned it into a mono file and downgraded it, so it was this incredibly poor sounding. It didn't sound that great anyway because it was the very first production I'd ever done. Yeah. But it sounded much worse even in game than it should have done, and it was very demoralising.
Oh dear.
I'm trying to think.
Did they do that just for optimization's sake?
Yeah, they wanted to save space, but they only saved. I worked it out. A mono file was about 3 kilobytes smaller than that.
Yeah, right. I mean, because sound is often one of the biggest things that takes up space in a game.
Yeah.
If you're heavy on sound files, it can really push the size of the game up. But yeah, for a 3 kilo lightsaber, it's not really worth it.
It didn't seem worth it.
Yeah.
But that was many years ago now.
Yeah, of course, right. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to build a plane.
Someone in chat saying you put the wings on the wrong way around.
Have I? Which way? Oh, I haven't.
Cyronin, the wings at the back are the wrong way.
Oh, this mini wing. No, I think that is the right way out. Pretty sure. Anyway. Let's try that then. Maybe that'll work. So, what kind of game music is your favourite to make these days? I mean, how do you feel like your craft has progressed from where you were then to where you are now?
Probably all the stuff I'm best known for is chiptune, kind of bit crush electronica stuff. Like that's in terms of anything major I did, those are the ones that are best known. By now I'm really into doing orchestral things, and that's the direction I want to go pretty much exclusively. You know, obviously TerraTech is still going on, but I feel like I've done enough with other genres, but I always wanted to do orchestral. And it's only very recently I got the like good enough sample libraries, decent enough knowledge of how to manipulate MIDI to make it sound realistic. Yeah. So that's always what I wanted to do, but now I can actually do it.
So are there many games composers that you're aware of that go that route with sampled orchestral sounds and then creating whole orchestral pieces through that? I mean, it must. I don't know if I'm on the wrong lines here, but would that mean that you're creating a what do you call it? A track for each of the instruments and then manipulating them up and down to effectively fake a whole orchestra?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right, so that seems quite a lot more involved than say a single guitar track.
Yeah, it definitely takes a lot longer. Like there was that the Christmas track I did for TerraTech.
Right, yeah, of course,
which I did in about 5 hours. I think I did
Can't wait to hear that again.
In a day.
Yeah.
Which I was able to because it's a lot quicker. Whereas an orchestral track might take me a week.
Right.
And that's partially because I haven't got through the learning curve yet, and some people do it a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But I'm very unforgiving on myself in terms of realism. So if I'm not happy with it, I keep fiddling with it and getting incredibly angry and making myself change it if it's not right.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to focus on in the future, rather than doing more chiptune. That said, if people want to hire me to do chiptune, they can.
Yeah, of course. So, are you allowed to speak about what other games you're working on these days, or?
Yeah.
Or perhaps what sort of games you've worked on before?
There's, I think in theory it's ongoing, but then I never want to assume because there isn't a contract. But they said they'd like some more music soon. There's some music for a game called Spark Rising.
Okay, what kind of game is it?
It's. See, I haven't played it. It's kind of like TerraTech. I mean, but it's also not. I guess it has more in common with Minecraft. It's sort of voxel based combat. Very brightly coloured and unusual but good colour scheme.
What did you say it was called?
Spark Rising. By Wicked Loot. Company.
Look at this.
And that was actually one of my best kind of processes for getting the music done, because the developer I was sorting it out with, he was very good at getting back to me and giving very specific feedback about what he wanted, and even making videos from listening to the track and going, right, at this point I want this. Right. It's actually quite unusual that people will be that good at giving feedback. Yeah. Because normally they go, I don't like the bass, and they don't actually mean the bass, they mean the snare or something. Right, yeah. It's you guys have been good with feedback because you've got Jamie that does music. Yeah. Very extensively.
Jamie's a music head. Music head. Yeah. Muso.
So when he says like 4/4, I know he knows that he means 4/4.
Right. Yeah,
Other people might get confused, but no, Wicked Loot was a cool thing to work for.
It's kind of a funny thing. I mean, I guess it happens with other disciplines as well. Definitely with design, you know, when you get feedback from people, you have to try and figure out if that's necessarily what they mean, or you know, you have to filter it through that.
Yeah.
you know what you're trying to work with and what you're trying to do with something. But
there's always a point where you're very sure as a musician that you know that's best than doing that.
Yeah.
To someone that is a musician. But then there are suggestions. I've forgotten. It was you and Russ and Jamie when I was doing the very initial theme.
Yeah.
And all the feedback that I got and used to incorporate into the track did actually make it better.
Right. That's cool. That's lucky. Yeah. I mean, it's tricky, isn't it? Sometimes when you get feedback and you're acting on it, you're very aware that you're making something worse, or you're doing something which you know is not going to work. Just to prove it doesn't work necessarily. But I guess that's the nature of things sometimes.